Grateful to be here. This is Ted Hicks. The issue is on my end. You know, you got to turn your mic on and your headphones on. But this is Ted Hicks, Late Night Parents. Welcome to the show. Across from me, Rich Valdez.
Teddy Ted, what's going on, man? How are you? How was the week?
What's going on with you? It's been a week to remember.
Not much. Actually, you know, of course, around the 9 to 5, the salt mines, the grind, it was a busy week. All those students coming back, all the 1Ls, the new students, all those fresh young minds just ready to be molded and absorb everything that's thrown at them. Yeah, all those new law school students. But otherwise, it was a good week.
That's true. That's true. It was a good week. Got to tell you, in the queue, our featured guest for the evening is going to be Krista Rizza. But before that, want to give a big shout out to Edna and Willard Meeks. That was a wedding I attended yesterday.
Oh.
Lovely couple. I was in Queens, Allen AME Church. Reverend Elaine Flake officiated.
I was about to say Flake, Allen AME, Merrick Boulevard, yes. Merrick and Linden
Boulevard, keeping it Queens.
My goddaughter was. That's where we held the ceremony for my goddaughter.
Oh, okay.
And the good Reverend Flake Senior, Floyd, is the one who performed the service. I'm going back 30 years.
Gotcha. Well, his wife, Reverend Elaine, officiated the event, the occasion. Glorious, really, really, really good people. The one thing I did say to you in pre-pro.
There it is. There's the pre-pro.
They were dating for over 20 years, Rich.
I mean, after 20 years, you know, part of you wants to say why after 20 years, but you know what? It's still doing the right thing. You're making it legal, making it legitimate, saying it in front of friends and family in the world that you two are going to stay together and do this for the rest of your lives.
Right. So it was really good. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Edna had mentioned to Willard's brother that they were going to get married, I think circa 1997.
Wow. Okay.
So really good. Happy for those good folks. Let me just read this really quick. I think our featured guest is in the queue, Krista Rizzo. She's a certified transformational life coach, author, speaker, video show host, wife, and the world's okayest mom of two amazing boys. Without further ado, Krista, how you doing?
Hi, guys. I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Good, Krista. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
I will tell you, the portfolio is pretty long, Krista, but I would say of all the great things that you do, you're a mom, amazing mom of two boys.
There you go.
Or you could just say amazing mom or of two wonderful boys. However, so how are things?
I am a mom, yes, that I am.
So there's a lot to get in here. We're getting ready to talk about going back to school.
Yep.
We want to talk with you about some key ways of getting our kids prepared and in the right mood. I can tell you, for one, my son this year, he attended a summer school program, made him go. Even though he graduated from 5th grade, for 6th grade, it was an 8-day program. They did math, they did reading, and they had extracurricular activities. They had some type of physical education. I will tell you, for those 3 hours, it was really great. I wish the program was a little bit longer.
Yeah.
That way. But first question I have for you is, how do we make back to school fun for parents?
Well, I think we have to kind of take a step back as parents, because I think a lot of times, summer is supposed to be super fun for all of us, and we're doing all the things and going on the vacations, and the kids we don't have a schedule, and they go to camp and, all those things. And then we kind of stress out because all of a sudden, by week 6 or 7, we're like, oh my gosh, I need that structure back. And we kind of crave it a little bit. So that brings on a little bit more stress for us because then we're thinking, okay, it's back to school. I have to start dealing with the school supplies and the teachers and the emails and the other parents and all the things. And so I think for most people, I suggest stepping back and really having an idea of what you want your back-to-school experience to look like and analyze your situation and really say, okay, this year, instead of waiting to the last minute, we're going to space it out a little bit better. Instead of stressing out about it, I'm going to start, and doing it all myself, I'm going to start including my kids and my partner, whoever I'm co-parenting with, in on the activities. This way, everyone is kind of helping along in the process.
That makes sense. It almost, in some ways, it sounds like it also sounds like you're saying, don't make so much of an event of it. I mean, it is going back to school. It is something special, but it's just another part of the day-to-day activities, I guess. I mean, I am a little more separated from it than Ted is. My youngest is in his junior year of college. I have 3 boys myself, so I definitely do remember those days, those years, getting ready, getting prepped for the back-to-school experience. So I guess then that leads to the next question. You want to make it fun for parents. How do you make it a positive and maybe even fun experience for the kids? I mean, without yelling at them, screaming at them, and everything else that it can entail.
So I suggest involving your children. So what I do is I have a date day with each one of my boys separately, and I'll take them, just the 2 of us. We'll go to the store, we'll get their school supplies, we'll pick up a new pair of sneakers, we'll do whatever the back-to-school shopping list requires, but then we'll go out for lunch and have some ice cream and really talk about what was so fun about our summer and what the school year is going to look like and, all the things that they want to accomplish in the school year, whether it's, academically or their extracurriculars. Both my boys play sports, so, we have a pretty stacked schedule in our house. But I think once you are engaging them and having the conversations with them about, how great school is and how fun it can be and really bringing them into the conversation and the activity, that kind of makes it something for them to look forward to. Like my boys they look forward to the end of the summer when they know it's coming. It's, okay, we're going to have date day and this is where we're going to go, and they kind of tell me where they want to go shop and what they want to go see and that kind of stuff. So I think if you involve them and you have the conversations with them that, creates excitement, you can make it fun for them too.
I understand that. I mean, that does sound like you have a good plan there. Get them involved, get the discussion going about what's coming up in the next school year. I guess setting those expectations. Maybe if you can maybe go more in depth on that. I mean, it's for the parents, for the students. The beginning of the school year, it can be a very tense, trying, stressful period because, of course, the students, they have their friends that they're going back to if they're going back, their friends that they're going to see again if they're going back to the same school and such. But, if they're going to a different school, then it's a whole nother story. I mean, you've got a whole bunch of new people to meet, new teachers to interact with. It's now it'll then just be a new grade, so you have higher expectations, of course, or different expectations. How do you get the children ready and set as far as that goes?
So I like to talk about this a lot. I talk to my clients about this all the time when we're talking about parenting, and even in real life situations not related to parenting. Having expectations and setting expectations for yourself and for your kids is something that I've actually been doing since our kids were super little. So, when we started with daycare, we would make it a point to tell our kids what they should expect out of the day. Who was picking them up, who was dropping them off, what was going to happen during their day. And we've continued that tradition or exercise pretty much every day of their lives thereafter. So, when they get up in the morning, they know what to expect. When they go to school, they know what to expect. When they, we're talking about experiences that we've had as youngsters. So I think relating to them on that level is really important. So try to remember back when you were going into high school. So my son, my oldest, is going into the 8th grade. And, I try to remember back to what it was like for me when I was in the 8th grade. And I will tell him stories about, in the 8th grade I did this, 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 and this, and this. And you might come up against that, or you might have some similar feelings, or you might have a situation that is similar. And I think when you can relate to your kids on their level, they kind of appreciate that a little bit more, because they're not looking at you, they're looking at you as a peer, but they're looking at you from a standpoint of, oh, maybe she kind of does know what I'm talking about, even though most of the time our kids don't think we have any idea what they're talking about.
Right.
But I feel like relating to them and really explaining to them about what's about to happen in every situation that they walk into, or any situation, really can help quell the stress and the anxiety for them, because they'll have an idea of what's about to happen. What's going to, happen in this, you might have chemistry, and these are the things you do in your chemistry class. And, really just talking to them. Communication is such the most important part of any relationship. And so if you have open lines of communications with your kids, you're going to help them feel a little bit less stressed.
Chris, I have a question. And initially I was going to ask this question about helping your kids feel less anxious and more positive about starting a new school year. So let's say, I'll give my son as an example. So he's leaving the 5th grade and he's going into 6th grade, middle school, what we used to call junior high school. I'm not sure why they don't call it junior high anymore. But he's going into middle school. How do I quell some of those fears and that level of angst on his behalf?
So I will tell you this. My son, we did that 2 years ago, and we live in Brooklyn. So he chose to go to a school that was completely different than any one of his friends that had been in this class for the first 7 years of his life. And I was a little bit anxious about it, to be honest. I was like, I can't believe you're leaving your squad behind. And he said, this is the school I want to go to. So if I have to do that, then that's what I have to do. And so we had a lot of really important talks about, socialization and, just being yourself and being kind and doing all the things that you do on a regular basis. And then, again, relating back to your kid. You know what? I know what it feels like to be the new kid in school, or to be the youngest one in school, or to be the new kid in the 6th grade, or going into a new school, and really trying to explain to them that you understand their feelings, and that, at the end of the day, you're still you'll probably have some friends in this school. You might know a couple of kids that you didn't realize you knew, or there might be some kids in the 7th grade who you might know if you're going to a neighborhood school kind of thing. So, and I also think that parents, we have the opportunity to reach out to teachers the way, not anything unlike, my parents never reached out to my teachers when I was a kid. They didn't have that kind of access to them until we actually got into school. But these days, we have access to our teachers and our administrators and all that kind of stuff first. So, if you're going to a new school and you're not familiar with it at all, I highly suggest reaching out to the principal or the vice principal and just introducing yourself and your child and saying, what can we expect, to see if there's something that they suggest or is on their website, or do some research, because, I'm much older than a lot of people, and so it's like, back in the day, we didn't have all the tools that we have now. So we should use social media and the internet and all our resources that we can find to help us understand better where our kids are going to be and who they're going to be surrounded with.
Those are all good and valid points. Thank you so much for those. Now, taking it to another item here. So as I understand, you have a contest. Why am I yelling? Tell me about this.
So right now I am running a back-to-school de-stress contest. If you go to WhyAmIYelling.com, you will be asked to download a free video. So there's a free video I have with a bunch of tips in there on how to have more fun, to make back-to-school more fun for everyone. You download the video, and you're automatically entered into the de-stress contest, which can get you a 90-minute connection call with me. That's what the winner wins. You get 90 minutes with me. It's very fun. And we can talk about whatever it is you want. We can talk about how to de-stress for back to school, or any other parenting thing you want to talk about. So that is the contest. It runs through this coming weekend. August 25th, I think, is the day that we are going to stop taking entries.
Okay.
And then a winner will be announced the following week.
Okay. And all our listeners out there, you've got the website, WhyAmIYelling.com. I believe you can also get on Facebook at WhyAmIYelling, on Instagram. you have until August 25th to enter into this contest. Please sign up, join up, and you can win 90 minutes with Krista.
Do it. Yeah, it's fun.
It sounds like it.
Krista, we want to thank you so much for joining us for this quick segment. Love for you to come back and check in with us, or we can check in with you in a couple of months when at least, school has fully kicked in and we've gotten through a couple of holidays, and just to really get on your calendar to find out what's happening for the holiday season.
We'd love to. I have a book coming out, so I'd love to talk to you guys soon.
Oh, that'd be great. We'd love to have you back on.
So what we need you to do is promote your social handles and your website one more time.
Okay, you guys, find me at WhyAmIYelling.com. Follow me on Instagram at WhyAmIYelling_, and like my Facebook page at WhyAmIYelling.
Krista Rizzo, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Krista.
Thanks, guys.
Talk to you soon. Take care. That was pretty interesting.
It was.
Things that she kind of mentioned and alluded to for us older folks. I remember back in the day, back in my day.
But it was funny when she said, well, I'm older. I'm like, so are we.
So are we. Exactly. Yeah, I mean, sure. When I was going to school in those ages, you didn't know anything about anyone until school started. Or if there was an orientation for your major transitions, then you would be introduced to a few people. You might have a name, and that'll be about it. It's like, all right, I'll see what this person looks like when I get there in September.
That is true.
So, the ideas and the accessibility, I guess, that they have now, it's, you can get, like she said, you can get to the principal, you can get to the teachers. Everyone posts all the curriculum, and everything's available, so why wait? Lessen the stress.
Big difference than when just as you said, when we were in school. Now, I mean, the fact through the mobile app, I talk with my son's teacher as often as I want to talk with him. It's just like, hey, how did the day go?
Mm-hmm.
Better yet, how is the day going?
How is the day going?
So midday,
no surprises when
chiming
you get home.
in, and he's just like, oh, well, we did this, we covered this for fifth period, and we did this, and this is how it went for science. And hold on, let me get his history teacher in on the conversation.
Right.
And it's like, not to say you don't need a parent-teacher's night, but it's just really accessible nowadays. And I'm sorry, kids. I'm sorry.
But you mentioned all of that, then I have to wonder. Well, okay, if there's 20 kids in the class,
Right.
20 parents. Well, actually, potentially 40 parents.
Right.
20 kids, 40 parents, all texting back and forth, looking for updates and all that. I mean, when does the teacher have the time to teach?
Well, during the prep and during their admin periods, it's probably when they're responding back.
Yeah, that's true.
And preparing the curriculum. And you would hope that they have the curriculum prepared for the week or for the month, because just in case if they get observed, they have to present it.
Yeah, right.
So, pretty good discussion. Love to have Krista back for around about the time that her book drops.
Yep.
This is latenightparents.com. Ways to follow the show, latenightparents.com or lmp.tv. Rich had a question about Facebook admins undergo authorization process. Facebook page admins.
I gotta scroll.
Oh, you gotta get out of it. You gotta get out of there.
Okay, so I'm guessing. Oh, go ahead. I'm listening.
Okay, so Facebook page admins, because Facebook is concerned about fake news.
Okay.
Concerned about, I guess, the Russians.
As they should be, since they were
they
the medium of choice, it seems.
But for all the pages, all the admins are now being forced to go through and you just scroll down, and I think you might. There you go. Viewing it on the iPad. I remember those days.
Oh,
but
go ahead.
So the page admins, if you're a Facebook page admin, as you can see, I get easily distracted.
That's
I was just like,
Ooh, bright and shiny.
But like the bright shiny object. You have to reauthorize your page.
Good.
They want to find out who you actually are.
I have no problem with that at all.
I think it's great. Why? Because they're doing it before the midterm election.
Yep, that's the one way to eliminate some bots. You would hope. You think?
Well, some bots, and as you know, they're cracking down on the hate speech.
Yep.
And they're cracking down on, I guess, being an extremist, whether it's left or right, but I think it's great. It's being done right now, guess where? Primarily in the United States.
Well, that's where it's needed. I mean, come on, let's be real.
You have 2.2 billion users, and you have
globally,
roughly
yes,
300 and well, you got 390 million people here in the U.S. alone.
Yeah, but see, it's our 390 that tend to fall for the garbage.
But
the rest of the world says that's fake news.
But it's only being done in the U.S.
Election time, like you said.
Yeah.
Why not? I mean, this will be one way, I guess, to stop the trolls. Let's get some, at least, authentic, one-on-one correspondence from someone instead of it being the trash that gets put out there.
I mean, I guess I'm okay.
Why not? I'm okay with it.
I guess I'm okay.
And it looks like they're going to do multi-factor authentication.
Multi-factor authentication. We need a cell phone number.
Yes,
we need something. We need something to verify that you're just not whomever creating 600 million pages.
Right.
And they're all linked, and they're all sharing the same
and they're all bouncing the same information back and forth.
Yes.
This one says it, this one confirms it, this one says, oh, we just saw this on this page, and next thing you know, this one page just put out a lie or fake news, and it's been bounced around 600 times and quoted by everyone else on Facebook later on. I just read this. Look at this must be true.
Let me send this to my whole family.
Right.
And you're just like, and then you kind of start thinking about Pizza Rat.
How that made its way around. Everyone shared Pizza Rat.
Everyone shared Pizza Rat. Then, didn't you have the guy going into the pizza parlor with a shotgun?
I didn't hear this part.
Okay. So...
I remember Pizza Rat.
You remember?
Yes, I remember Pizza Rat. The pizza the rat dragging the pizza up the stairs in New York City subways. Yes.
But then there was that kind of extremely fake news story about the Clintons molesting kids in a pizza parlor.
Oh, yes.
Someone went in there with a gun.
Oh, okay. That wasn't tied to Pizza Rat.
That wasn't tied to Pizza Rat.
Right. That was actually tied to wasn't Breitbart. That was tied to Alex Jones.
Our buddy.
Yes, he was tied to that message, and even he and his ilk had to at some point say, okay, we're wrong. That really didn't happen. No, they weren't molesting children in the pizza parlor upstairs in the back.
I remember having lunch with two friends out in Northport,
mm-hmm.
and the two friends were having an argument over that.
That it was true or not
that
true?
That was true and not true, and I was sitting there eating their food. Not paying attention to the conversation. And it got very heated. And, here it is. 2 years later, I sit back.
Right.
And I'm like, were they really going nose to nose over this?
Probably. Mm-hmm.
Probably. So, I don't know.
One read it on Facebook, and then they read it on some other website, and then someone forwarded it, and they said, yeah, look at that. I mean, that's how these things happen these days. That is one thing to say, the sad state of affairs in general. No one
reads.
People, well, they read because they're reading this crap online. So no one does research, no one does validation, and no one understands exactly where they're getting their information from.
Right.
That's the key. We've had this conversation before.
A million times about verifying your news source. Mm-hmm. Is it an actual news source?
Is it truly a news source?
Right.
Or is it just we'll call it informational source? There's two different things. News is news. Information can be true or false.
But that's the whole key about... I think I told you I went to NABJ a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Only went once. They're having it again next year.
It was Florida, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
They're having it again in Florida.
Okay.
I might consider. Then again, I might not.
Why not?
It was nice.
Yeah, but I think you made some contacts there.
So what do I say? It's a great event, but you have a dying breed. You have journalist jobs drying up.
Yep.
You have newspapers drying up.
Yep.
You have mergers, acquisitions happening. You have people going from print to video. And any other job, some retired athlete is taking the journalist / analyst type jobs, and I'm sitting there like, okay, you see these kids getting out of graduating school,
right?
And it's not enough jobs.
No. Well, that is another thing which we've talked about at different times. Sure, you used to say go to school with a journalism degree,
right?
And yes, you're going to go work for a newspaper,
right? And
take your career path that way. It just doesn't work like that anymore.
No, it doesn't.
But all the things you said, sure, that there is a migration of jobs, and the roles are different, but that doesn't change the fact that that journalists are still needed, and that even if a person is going from being a reporter, getting to write a little byline in the back of page 20, and now they're doing a video on YouTube or whatever or wherever else, it still goes down to what they're putting forward. As long as it's accurate information, researched, developed, verified, you still need that instead of someone that just goes on and from the hip all the time.
No, you do. I'm not saying you don't. My issue with it is you run into these news organizations, let's say sports for that matter, that are, real recently with the Daily News, clipping 70% of their staff.
Right. And going online.
And just
pushing the online
and pushing the online electronic AP.
Right.
So if AP makes it available, include it here, that's the way we're going to do business. So what happens to the journalists? They have to morph.
For jobs.
Right. They have to morph. They have to do something else. So I'm not saying, not knocking NABJ.
Sure.
I think it's a great event.
Sure.
I think people need it, but I think they need to talk about the reality of the fact is there are less jobs.
Yes.
And it's getting even more competitive.
Mm-hmm.
And with like I said, with the advent of AP, which has been here, AP has been used previously to fill up, you kind of drop a story here and there.
Right.
Because
with the wire. Something else comes into the wire.
Because
there
you have
it
your
is.
featured reporters handling everything.
Right.
But when the AP becomes the
primary source,
it's scary.
Right. So I guess, talking about the Daily News, I know about them pulling back on staff and all. Is it even less now the New York Daily News? I mean, are we still going to have local stories? Because that's what you always wanted your correspondence to be, especially like a paper like the New York, like the Daily News and the Post.
Right.
Local New York mags. In the towns, you got a section for every borough, and each one of those sections has a subsection for your neighborhood. It was all the local information. Does that go away now?
It's a good question because AP is going to cover a national story.
It's national, right?
It's going to cover a national story. So if the story's happening in Kansas City, Kansas, if it's happening in Nevada, Las Vegas,
right,
it's going to pull it. But I'm sure they have to still have, they're going to have, I think the sporting department went from 30 people to 9.
Wow.
Well, but you noticed it. Like I noticed it because I followed this stuff really, really closely.
Mm-hmm.
And when you start to hear the beat writers saying, hey, I can't travel below Virginia. And I'm like,
Okay.
So anything past that point,
just let AP cover it.
Just let AP cover it. I notice it now. I mean, is it budgets are tightening where some of these analysts that used to be, shipped around
right,
are calling games off of screens, Rich. They're calling games off a screen, like, so you're sitting, so the event is happening in Guam,
right?
But you're sitting in Los Angeles watching the screen, calling a game.
I mean, I understand what you're saying, but technically, or functionally, does it make a difference?
I don't know.
They're looking at a screen instead of looking through a window.
Yeah, I guess.
I totally get what you're saying.
I'm just,
it doesn't sound right, but it's if they're reporting on the game live, and as it's happening, they're just not there.
I tweeted you earlier. I just said,
I think I saw it.
Netflix with ads.
Yes, I did see that.
Rich,
But
we're getting to that point. Only for specific series.
Right, and for their own series. So it's going to be Netflix during the most binge-worthy and binge-watched shows.
They'll have an ad.
We'll have an ad for another Netflix show in between, right?
But I thought the beauty of Netflix,
There's
because
no ads.
no ads, you keep raising my subscription fee, and I thought you guys operate without any ads.
I have to look, and I have it in front of me, so as soon as my device here decides that it wants to unpause,
Right.
Are they talking about throwing ads
Not
in
everywhere.
the middle of the middle of the show, or this will be in between episodes?
In between episodes. But that's the first wave.
That's the first wave.
That's the first wave where you get kind of excited.
Right.
And you're
it's
like, oh.
right into the next episode.
Yeah,
Here
I
we go,
I
bang,
can't
bang.
wait to 3 seconds.
Yes.
I just got to click on this. And then I got to click skip intro. Well, guess what?
Right.
They're gonna
Skip intro, yes.
They're gonna slap an ad right there.
If they make the ad skippable,
The ads are made skippable.
you know,
The ads are made skippable. I still think it's the first step.
you're totally right. I agree with you. It is going to be the first step. It is the first step. But as long as the ads are skippable, okay, so now I've got to hit fast forward twice or enter twice.
Right.
Skip ad, skip intro.
Right. Right.
Uh,
So what happens, Rich? What happens, Brian, when they say if you pay $2 more,
You'll get ad free.
you'll get ad free, and you'll say that's what I had 3 months ago,
I won't be paying the $2 more.
because you know it's coming. You know it's going to get to the point of $16.99 per month, and everyone's going to say, "Okay, I'm in."
it's going to depend on the ad. It's going to depend how intrusive they are. Again, it's ads for their own shows, which is that's one thing.
Right.
You know, it's not like they're going to start. You know, we're going to see Pepsi ads in between shows. Then, when that happens, then forget it. Okay.
So I want to get you on record right now.
Uh-oh.
How long before the ads are unskippable? How long? And I want to tie this, also dovetail this into, but if you pay
You pay for a premium ad-free service.
ad-free service for $16.99,
How long?
how long?
At least a year.
Brian? 6 months.
He said 6 months.
I'm
I say year.
inclined more to go with Brian, and
Okay.
I'm going to say
Okay.
by 2019, I'm going to go the 3 months.
You're saying by 2019.
By 2019, they're going to address, hey, for January 1, we want to let you know that there will be ads in between the shows. They won't be skippable, but
There'll be an ad-free service.
there's an ad-free upgrade. Everyone has done it.
Yeah, but the difference is the ads everyone else has done have been commercial ads for other products. They're just putting in basically previews for their own shows.
Yeah.
I still say you're right that it's the
Precursor of things to come.
Yeah.
I don't see them doing that method yet for at least a year, though.
Okay.
At least a year.
I think on the site we released an article about PhishPoint. PhishPoint
Targeting.
attacks
Yeah,
Office 365 users.
targeted. Office 365.
Need we say any more?
It was bound to happen. I only say that because, let's face it, 365 is the primary business supported hosted emailing service now, right?
Yeah.
I mean, how close is, I need to look and see, because a lot of businesses are going with Google.
Really?
More and more. I'd be curious to see what the numbers are.
I mean, essentially, hackers are using SharePoint files to host phishing links, and they're targeting,
Office 365 users. Why?
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to say people are smart, just people aren't savvy enough to realize when an attack is happening.
Well, are these is this the standard delivery method?
Standard delivery method.
Send an email with a link, read
With a
this,
link,
you sent me this,
Yes.
here's $50, here's $5,000, click here to win,
Of course.
and sign up. Mm-hmm.
Of course.
How much more see, people just don't listen to us. See,
No.
That's what it is, Ted.
You totally hit it, because we go back and forth and say how to protect yourself, and it's the same old stuff. You got to be skeptical of any email subject line that capitalizes buzzwords
Yep.
for workplace stress, like urgent or action required.
Nothing legitimate has either of those words in the subject.
No,
Let's be honest.
you got to be suspicious of these URLs. If you just hover, if you take the second, put your mouse over the URL. How many times have you said it? 1 billion?
Getting close. Maybe in retweets.
Is it getting tiring for you?
No, it's just it does get harder and harder to say "I told you so," to not to say it. That gets harder. But we have to keep the perspective. We are the IT professionals.
Okay.
The end users are not. This is what we get paid for.
But when you're presented with a login page, do they even look at the URL to see if it's actually hosted by the service they're asking
No,
to log into?
no. How many? I could tell you countless times on a weekly basis where I'll hear from a client, just verify this for me. Is this legitimate? Is this coming from a legitimate source? And forward the message, and sure enough, right in the email header, I can hover my mouse over the link that says to OneDrive, and it says to vegas.lol.russia.eu.
Right.
Whatever. I'm like,
But
no,
why does it
it's
have to be
not.
Russia?
Oh, you see, I threw them all in there. I did. I threw them all in there. I
Why
said
does it
Russia.
have to be Russia? Come on. It could be North Korea.
.nk.
You know?
.co.
Okay.
.au.
Could you give me your description of multi-factor authentication?
Sure, we can do that. And this is something that most people these days, if you do any banking or medical records on your mobile devices, just about all of them these days are offering you a way to access or authenticate with more than just a password.
Okay.
We're all used to log in, putting your password, done, good, you're on. Multi-factor authentication is just what it sounds like. Multiple ways that you can authorize that you are the person on the other side of your mobile device. The most popular way it seems to be for this is to, you log in, they say, please set up the phone number that you'd like us to send you a text message to so that you can verify this is you logging in. So you go to the site, after you configure it with the phone number, you use your mobile device. You log in, you put in your password, then it says, all right, sending you a text message. You get the text message from the vendor, you put in the code that they send you, you put that in, and then you get logged into your website. That's like the most popular form of multi-factor authentication for many, many end users. You'll also have the type where if you're in an even more controlled environment, you'll have a little key fob. There are third-party vendors which you log in, again put in your password or whatever credentials, and then it asks you to put in the code that's on the little key fob that you have on your device, either as a physical key fob or also via an app on your phone, where same thing.
It registers. You tell it the code that's being displayed on the mobile app or on the key fob. It verifies it, and then it allows you to log in. It's just more and more ways that they're trying to secure it, that you are in fact you logging into your data, so that it's not someone who has gotten your password, hacked it from another website, and is now trying to log in as you. And one of the benefits of it is, especially with the callback to a text message, you'll still get the text message when someone tries to log in. So right away, you should be like, "Oh man, somebody just tried to log into my website, and it wasn't me. Right. Something's going on." But you can be sure that they didn't get in because they don't have your phone with the authentication code.
Pretty good. Explanation. I will say I've enabled it for Twitter.
I should.
Where else have I enabled it? I think that's my primary social media tool that I use.
Right.
But yeah, I enabled it for Twitter because there are times, if you notice, you find out you get hacked, but that's a day, 2 days later, and you see all these disparaging messages. Hey, I did this. Hey,
yeah.
It's a family-related show, so
yeah, we can't repeat what it says.
But wanted to mention that something we talked about Dr. Michelle a couple of years ago. The FDA approves the first generic version of the EpiPen.
It's about time.
Come on.
I mean, granted, I don't know if this was limited to copyrights or trademarks or whichever that ends up being.
Come on.
Maybe some of that was tied into this. Did I hear correctly? I'm looking through it now, and I did hear this correctly. That the price for one of those injectors, or its pack of two, is up to like $700.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and it was $100 10 years ago.
Yep.
Come on. I mean, sure, be profitable, make some money, but this is at the cost of the health of the citizenry. Good. It's about time they can make a generic one. Hopefully that brings the price down. I know that's part of the plan.
That's the plan.
That's the hope, rather.
That's the whole plan. I mean, this is your classic case of price gouging.
Yeah.
And we're going to hold you because you got to think about this. If you have a child has a food allergy, what are your options?
Right. Have to keep one of these handy.
Come on. I mean, it's we've seen it through the years. Whether we're taking, the doctor prescribes XYZ,
right, and
you say, "Give me the generic version."
Give me the generic,
because it's going to do the same thing.
Once the generic is available,
right?
That's what you have to wait for,
right? So
it would be nice if Dr. Michelle was here, though, because it's still one of those questions, EpiPen related and allergy related. We've discussed this on air, I think, before. I know when I was in elementary school and all the way through high school and beyond, all these allergies, this allergic to this and that, and can't get near this, and can't touch this, and didn't exist.
Yeah, I don't remember it existing.
It didn't. Nope. And I mean, granted, and we're talking 40 years ago.
Yeah.
40, 45 years.
Yeah.
What is someone really looking at why it seems suddenly everyone is hypersensitive to the environment, or children especially, it seems ultra sensitive to certain things in the environment?
Maybe the last administration was looking, but that's my
shots fired.
My weekly Trump dump.
A well-deserved one.
But I'm saying someone has to be looking in on this. I mean, people are quick to say regulation is bad, right? But is it really? Is it really bad when you have situations like this, like you said?
It depends what the regulation is.
What was something that was $100 shot up to $700?
Right. That's crazy.
And you have people just out there, and you have our kids dying.
Right. Unless you can show legitimately that the cost of manufacturing and distribution has gone up 800%, which I'm pretty sure probably didn't. These things tend to go down over time. No, it's not right. It's not fair.
and there should be. I would not be opposed to some sort of regulation that says, you know, the cost of your medicine has to be in direct proportion to the cost of the manufacturing, distribution, advertising, blah blah blah. Make it fair and make some money. Sure, you know, tack on 25%, whatever the case may be.
Okay.
Companies are in business to make money. That's what they're supposed to do.
But the margin should be regulated to what number?
That would something fair. I'll say. Hell, I'd even say double it. Make twice what. Make the full profit. Make twice what it costs to make. Okay, no problem. Now, I mean, granted, we're talking the medical industry, so certain things they could probably come back and justify that research, development, trials is billions of dollars before
Yes.
you know, a medicine is approved, and so many medicines don't make it through approval. So you know, the cost could get factored in and tied into there. So got to be fair, but you know, there's got to be some way of controlling this to some degree, so that guys like was it Shkreli, yes, can't say, you know what,
Martin,
I'm going to raise the price on this 1,000% now, just because. Right.
And
No.
the little guy,
Stuck.
the consumer,
Nothing
to do except swipe the card.
Right. Insurance rates go up.
Insurance rates go up to the point when the insurance says, yeah, you know what, we don't cover this.
Right.
anymore.
Right.
Because you know these companies nowadays, I mean, they get hit a couple of times. They're like, no, we're not going to cover this.
We're not going to cover that.
Sorry. So, as we segue from that, hey, we lost a juggernaut this week,
Aretha.
The Queen of Soul.
I have my. Did you ever see Aretha live?
I never saw Aretha live.
I saw Aretha live once when I was a very, very young child.
Okay.
And Aretha was opening for the Jackson 5
Wow.
at Madison Square Garden.
Okay.
Front row.
Circa
69, 68, maybe 70. Nah, 70. Let me go back. 70, 71.
Okay. Okay.
Yes. Pops had some contacts.
Oh,
Pops
nice.
had a hookup.
Nice.
In the front row. So, yes, got to see Aretha perform live. And I still remember it. It was an event.
Wow.
Of course, I was there for the Jackson 5.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that,
She
she had a voice.
She had a presence. She did a lot for, civic duties, civic
For
rules.
Detroit,
Yeah.
Definitely will be missed. Kofi Annan,
Yes. Former
Secretary
General. Yep. First black Secretary General.
Yes.
So,
Will be missed.
Yep.
My guy from the WWF days, Jim the Anvil Neidhart.
He also passed away.
He also passed away. I mean, it's like, jeez. It's like more and more and more and more of these legends, these icons. And I don't want to use that word too lightly.
Right.
But when we were children,
Right.
things that you saw on TV. And this is like before cable became hot. This is like
13 channels of TV.
right? That are leaving us, and it just.
Well, we're
Let
getting
you
to
know.
that age.
Yeah, I know.
That's,
I know.
That's all it is.
Gotta let you know, I was at a funeral yesterday, so it's
Condolences to the family.
yeah. Some of my friends were able to attend. I sent my best wishes to Buddy Pete. He passed away, I think in his early 50s. Early 50s, and it just lets you know. You're like, wow, really?
It can strike any time.
Well, you just start thinking about mortality.
Yes.
When stuff like this hits you at home and everything else like that.
When you can look at it and say, you know what, there probably are less kids ahead of me than there are behind me.
Behind me, yes.
You just get to a certain age, it's mathematics,
Yeah, it's like, we're all going to go.
Right.
You kind of think, I think of the show Car Talk.
Mm-hmm.
That's on NPR.
Okay.
And here they are still running the show. And
like the host, or
has passed away.
have passed away. And I'm like, how are they doing this?
It's funny. I heard a saying once, and it wasn't that long ago, that, I mean, not sounding sexist, but the saying was, a man is never truly dead until his name is uttered for the last time. So, that's their way of keeping him alive.
It's true.
He's in recording now.
It's true.
He's going to be saved in iTunes
It's
and
true.
all the media.
And you just
forever.
know that it's so easy to put together a show.
Right.
It's so easy. Like, there's some Sundays when we're not even here.
Right.
And we have a show that includes maybe snippets of about 6 or 7 shows.
Yep. The best of.
Rearranged. Brian's mixing it.
There it is.
You hear the the slight buzz on the microphone. You hear the music playing. Yeah, that's something. I do want to end on something of a weird note.
Okay.
So, we talk about golf all the time.
Yes. And we are going to get out there.
Oh, well-
I will make a fool of myself in front of you.
Well, the whole deal is this. September is going to be a great month because it's going to
Okay.
be much cooler,
yes.
hopefully less bugs.
Yes.
In Massachusetts, a man had bit off the finger of another golfer
You sent this link. I didn't
during
I
a
saw that.
melee in Massachusetts.
So on the links,
On the links,
middle of the course, I'm assuming.
melee starts, he bites off the fingers. So, and you kind of sit there and say, okay, isn't golf like a gentleman's sport?
It's supposed to be.
You kind of wonder. You're just like, okay, what's happening here?
What could it possibly be to make someone so upset that they'll bite someone's finger off?
I don't know. Maybe they had a biscuit in their hands, or
You can't take that mulligan. No.
I mean, oh my goodness. You kind of wonder, like, what is actually happening?
Road rage and golf rage.
Yeah, it's something. It's something. But I don't know if our listeners know, but the universe is definitely disappearing. There was an update in Forbes this week. We won't talk about it this week. We might talk about it next week.
The universe is disappearing.
The universe, as you know, it is disappearing. And it has nothing to do with Thanos and the Snapchat.
I watched that
Again?
I picked it up on Tuesday because
You
of
watched
course
it
it came
again.
in on Tuesday. I watched it last night.
I think Neil deGrasse Tyson would argue that the universe is not disappearing. It may be expanding further than we can even detect, but it's not like we can detect all of it anyway. The universe is disappearing. I can't wait till next week to see this one.
Last thing, actually, Rich, Chromecast user.
Nope.
Okay.
Are you?
I am not. They are increasing their connectivity for their new upcoming products. Maybe we'll touch upon that next week.
Okay.
I think we got a week to go before Labor Day.
Yes.
I think we're going to be off for Labor Day. I don't know.
Do I have that week off? I believe I have taken vacation.
Oh, lucky man. Very smart man. Richie V, best ways to find you?
As I have homed myself at Late Night Rich. And
And-
get me there.
I'm the real Ted Hicks, and we are out.
Everyone, thanks for listening. Have a great week.